Welcome, everyone. Welcome. What an honor it is to be in this place right now. I'm glad, like, we have a number of people that have logged in. Um, Please, if you know of anybody that is interested, an entrepreneur, or even a friend that is interested in personal branding, please text them quickly, send them a message, send them a WhatsApp, um, call them quickly and ask them to log in because this is something that you really don't want to miss. A lot of people take personal branding for granted, but it's something that's really important. I like to look at it this way as uh, when we were born, we were all given names. You know, there's Masejo, I'm Vimbai, and the way you introduce yourself is basically um, a brand. So basically, my brand is Vimbai. So we are all brands here, and I just like to encourage everyone just to invite as many people on the platform that you can. Um, so yeah, welcome. So yeah, without going any further, my name is Vimbai Janca, like the video has already mentioned. I've been in the marketing professional for almost a decade now. Very interesting space, very lovely space to be in. I really enjoy brands. I really enjoy marketing, people growing, like bringing ideas into life, basically. That's what marketing is really about. And then it's really such an honor to have a lot of people. I see people posting on the chats. Please, as you log in, just say a hi, mention where you're from if you can. If you are not in South Africa, it would be great to know which country you're coming from, well, you're logging in from. And yeah, so so this is one of the, so I was saying personal branding is really one of the it's a strong topic that every individual is really needs to know about and needs to learn about. And so that's why we're all gathered here. We're here to be great, to become better people. I believe that time spent in spaces like this is time to actually it's time you've invested in yourself to actually grow yourself. It's time you've invested in yourself to actually network with other people. Network is the current latest currency actually for you to be able to succeed in this life. So we're here, another session of Osalgia. Please forgive me if I'm bombing that, but Osalgia Consulting. It's another week of an Osalgia Consulting session. And so I'm going to quickly read for you what Osalgia is about. Osalgia Consulting. So basically, Osalgia is Portuguese and it means boldness. Osalgia was founded in 2022. It's a consulting firm and it's a training consultancy which is dedicated to fostering growth in both personal and professional spheres. Osalgia offers a range of comprehensive services which include personal and professional development coaching, public speaking and presentation coaching, Power BI development and training, soft skills training. Their goal is to empower individuals and to empower teams with skills and confidence that is needed in today's world, in today's competitive landscape. And so, without further ado, I would also then like to then dive into our next speaker, who is Ma'am Dorix Sitole. I've met Dorix Sitole once, and I think it was at one of these women empowerment sessions. And from there, I actually personally fell in love with her. Dorix Tole is the founder and managing director of a company called Blue Diamond Communications. Doric is passionate about serving individuals in the corporate space through skills development, through skills development training, so that people can be empowered to lead with excellence. She's also a philanthropist driven by a relentless pursuit to equip women with women and youth in disadvantaged communities. Her philanthropic projects include workshops on confidence, presentation, etiquette, communication. She's an excellent communicator with more than a decade of experience in marketing, communications, and brand management. She's also a SITA EDTP trained facilitator who specializes in communications, women in leadership, emotional intelligence, and change management. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a powerhouse in the building. Ms. Doric has a proven track record of establishing and maintaining pivotal partnerships with clients and stakeholders. So please, if you are in the chat, or if you can put an emoji of clapping your hands, let's introduce to the platform Ms. Doric Sitole. Ma'am, thank you for being in this space with us. Thank you for coming to share with us all the intelligence that you have when it comes to personal branding. We're here to learn. Take out your pens and papers, and let's do this.
All right. I hope everybody can hear me. Thank you so much, Vimbai, for that amazing introduction. And it's always a pleasure when you get to meet people that you met somewhere else. It just goes to show that we are out there working. And so just to make sure that we don't spend too much time on me explaining what I do and how I do, I think that introduction was very comprehensive. But for today, I just wanted all of you to just bring the whole part about who you are, who you want to be, where you see yourself, and thinking about how you are going to get there using your brand. So literally today is about us having a conversation about how we can take your unique qualities and expose that to the world. So a lot of you have heard the word branding. Personal branding is being bounced around a lot. And my background in marketing has just also given me a bit of foundation just to take some of those things that we do in marketing and say, how do I bring this in when I'm now doing a session with individuals to say, yes, this is a brand for a company. How do I deal with a brand called Doric? So I'm just going to say one thing that people always ask me, which is, what does your name mean? My name is Greek, and it actually stands for those columns you see in temples and buildings. And when I found out what my name means, I literally decided I'm going to introduce myself by highlighting what my name means, because the strongest pillar also highlights resilience. As a coach, as a pillar, I offer support. So when I introduce myself, I always mention that, hi, my name is Doric. It means a column and a pillar, one of the strongest pillars ever created by the Greeks. So if you are attending my session, trust that our sessions are also going to be built on making sure that I empower you to be resilient, so you know how to get back up when things are not working. And so I'm just giving you an example of some of the things that I had to do using my name, using some of the things that I was passionate about to say, how do I show up? So just to simplify the whole definition around personal branding. So I'm a keywords facilitator. So as we speak, I'm going to be bouncing keywords so that as you listen, you're thinking, okay, she said this word, she said this word. So when you think personal branding, I want you to think unique qualities and traits or skills, all right? Unique qualities or traits and skills that you are literally exposing so that you put yourself out there, whether it's for your growth or for your business. But there's another key element to it as well. The perception of the people that you serve is very important. So you don't just put your brand out there for the fun of it. If you see brands like Nike, they go all out. When they say just do it, they mean just do it. And when they do their billboards, they're putting it out there using slogans that are going to be the symbols that you're going to remember when you see Nike and you see that tick, right? Immediately, you don't need someone to say Nike. You know the symbol is a Nike symbol. So I want you to imagine that I am literally saying to you, if you were a brand like Nike or Nando's, whatever it is, who would you be and how would you show up in the marketplace? So a lot of us have had this word bouncing around. So today I just decided I'm going to drop bite-sized gems. My company is Blue Diamond Communications because I'm obsessed with diamonds. And my whole purpose in life is to help you unearth the gem that is on the inside of you that bears your gifts and your talents so you can serve the world with excellence and shine. So that's me. That's my brand statement. So when you think Doric, I want you to think diamonds. And I also want you to think about the qualities of a diamond. A diamond shines, but it doesn't shine without the pressure first. It needs the heat. So the refinement is what makes the diamond what it is. So today, I'm going to break this down in discover, refine, and shine. You are a diamond. So if you are looking at building a personal brand, the first thing you must do is to know thyself. The greatest mistake that is out there is us trying to market ourselves and yet we don't know who we are. So the first point of call is to say, who am I? What are my values? What is my identity? So when I think Doric, I'm thinking I'm a resilient woman with a very powerful voice. So you must be aware of the gifts and the strengths that you carry before you show up, so that when you take that awareness, you now say, how do I package myself? Now that I know I have a powerful voice, now that I know that I'm very good with interacting with people, when people interact with me, they feel comfortable. I've got good energy. How do I take all of those qualities and show up into the world? How do I take that and package it? So number one, you must know who you are and you must be aware of your identity, because awareness ensures that you pile up all those values. When you make friends, right, you make friends based on alignment on values, right? You don't just make friends with anyone. There's something that is attracting you to those friends. Same thing when you're looking at your personal brand, you must ask yourself, before I do a business deal with Masejo, what alignment do I have with Masejo? Before I engage with so and so, what's my alignment based on my values? So the greatest challenge is not knowing who you are and then not being able to show up because you've got nothing to offer the world. You don't know who you are. So awareness is key. Awareness of your identity, awareness of your strengths, your qualities, your unique qualities, your unique abilities. Just like if you're applying for a job and you go into an interview, half the time you are literally marketing yourself. And you're saying, pick me because I can do one, I can do two, I can do three. So I always give the example of the fact that you have people who are coming from universities from the same institution as you, coming from UJ or WITS. They also speak very good English. So what is the thing that is going to make you get the job? Seeing that you all speak good English, you're all from great institutions, what is going to set you apart? So a lot of us sometimes actually know who we are, so you're aware of your qualities. But the problem is you are afraid to own your identity. So authenticity is key. A brand is not a brand without authenticity. A brand shows up and says, this is who I am, and I am not going to need validation from anyone else to validate what I've presented to you. I am Doric. This is what I do. I am in the business of mining human diamonds. I use my voice to touch lives. And I use my voice to inspire others to discover their own voices. So all of that tells us, how do you intend to show up using the unique skills and qualities that you have? So number one, be aware. Number two, be authentic. Don't be ashamed of who you are. Show up boldly and just say, this is who I am. If you love big hair like me and you've got it, flaunt it. Because that would be the one thing that makes you stand out in a room. So people will say, oh, I remember that lady with the big hair, right? Whether it's the big hair or the big voice, there is something about you that you know you have. But here's the catch. Now that you know your identity, now that you are aware, now that you are starting to align everything that you're bringing together, the packaging has to be consistent. When you see me today, I dressed up for this session today. I put some perfume, by the way. You can't smell it, but I can. Because when I look good, I feel good. And when I feel good, I'm able to exude the message clearly, and that's just me. So for some of you, you don't think about those things. You're just like, oh, well, I'm just going to wear my PJs at the bottom, and then at the top, they'll see my face. I always make sure that looking good is a must, not an option. So if that is my brand, when I show up, people don't get shocked because now they know if Doric is coming to an event, trust that she's going to look good. You're not going to see me looking any less than what I've presented right from the beginning. So I wanted to highlight that part because it's also very important in terms of how you're showing up. Be consistent. If you're looking good, you best be looking good all the time. When you literally put your brand out there, whether it's social media, anything else that you're doing, there has to be consistency so that when people look at you, they can say, oh, she is really about inspiring people to discover who they are. I saw a couple of people on the chat, they're saying, I'm a public speaking coach, all of that. It's so amazing to see some communications people here as well. But even if you are not into communications, what do you do to serve the world? Which now takes me to your unique value proposition. So remember when I started, I said I'm in the business of mining human diamonds. I serve the world by inspiring others to discover their own voices. And I do that through coaching. I do that through MC. I do that as a speaker. I do that through women empowerment events. Those are examples of strategies and tactics that I've put in together to touch lives. Now, when I think about you, what must come to mind in terms of how you're putting yourself out there? What have you put together? So I want you to imagine that when you're building a personal brand, you are officially becoming the marketing manager of your brand. Everything sits with you. You must have a strategy about how you're going to position your brand. Who are you going to connect with on LinkedIn? For quite some time, when I did my women empowerment events, I was known as the online stalker on LinkedIn because I got all my speakers by introducing myself on LinkedIn. And I remember this woman saying, I can't believe I said yes to you. But then I asked her, why did you say yes? She said, your message was so clear. But guess what? I aligned with your message because I'm also obsessed by the concept of diamonds. Alignment. Be aware, be authentic, be consistent, but make sure that in everything that you do, there's alignment in terms of your brand. If you cannot align what you're doing and aligning in relationships, so some of you right now are calling yourselves CEOs. The question is, do you show up like a CEO? Do you speak like a CEO? Do you look like a CEO? Because like I said, a brand is packaged. It's not just packaged in terms of words. It's packaged also in terms of the value that you're offering the audience. And that is the most important thing. If you apply for a job, the company is more concerned about the value that you're bringing into the company. If you start a business, your unique value proposition determines whether you're going to get customers or not. What is the experience people feel when they're around you? Some of you think you've got nothing to give. And today, I just wanted to remind you that when you were born with a purpose. You came in with a gem, and your job now is to mine that diamond, refine it through experiences, refining it through consistent learning. So don't ever think that you're going to arrive with your personal brand. Be a consistent learner, because what worked for me in 2020 definitely is not going to work now. So I'm constantly evolving and thinking, what new book has come out that is communications related? What new book has come out that links with women empowerment that I can read to just keep feeding my mind with the knowledge, because you cannot serve the world from an empty cup. So some of us have aspirations, big goals and visions, but we're trying to serve the world with an empty cup. You need to fill your cup before you serve, because within the cup is where the unique value proposition lies. You get to think about what you are offering your audience. And what is the experience you want them to get when you are done with business? Is it comfort, right? Are you the kind of person who shows up with excellence and you just don't play when you do? And if you are not consistent with perpetual learning, it's going to be difficult. All right. So there was a bit of an interruption there. So consistency is key. Learn to align all your relationships. Some of you here, your CEOs, but you don't even have one single phone number of another CEO. And when I say CEO, I'm not talking about Mbintia Hao. I am talking about a CEO of a great company out there, building and earning the kind of money that you would like to make. But do you have their number? So when you start thinking personal branding, you must attract kings. I love a particular verse in the Bible that says, kings shall come to the brightness of your rising, right? For you to attract people of influence, you must be shining. You don't shine without putting in the work. You don't shine without packaging your brand. You must constantly feed your brand with the knowledge that is necessary so your cup is overflowing with the necessary knowledge that you need to serve the world and impact people positively so. So when you now think about your personal brand, you must ask yourself, who am I? What do I stand for? How do I want to be perceived by the world? What do I want to be known for? What am I doing to give this brand called Doric visibility? Am I on social media? Do I have a podcast? Am I doing things on TikTok? Am I engaging, going to events to position myself so that when that great opportunity finds you, it finds you ready, and it must find you looking good as well. I always say, when you dress up, please dress up like you are going to meet the one person you've always wanted to meet all your life. Dress up like that. Because when that time comes, no one is going to have to give you a pep talk to dress nicely. You've been preparing for that one big break. And preparation means knowing thyself, aligning with the right people, being consistent through learning, refining your gem, and showing up as an authentic being without fear or need for validation, because you have an understanding about who you are. If you don't know your content, what you need to say, it becomes difficult. So lastly, I wanted to talk about communication. You are being consistent. You know who you are. Communication is key, because if your message is not clear, I've met amazing people with great websites, but then when you meet the person, it's a total contradiction of what you saw on the website. You're like thinking, is this a scam? Because there's no alignment. So whatever you're building, I must experience your websites, experience your social media, and feel like I just had dinner with Vimbai by just reading her social media. So as someone who's coming from a marketing space, think about how you're going to position your brand, come up with tactics of accessing the audience that you need to share your knowledge. Because once you have placed your brand in a public space, you become credible. People will begin to view you and say, hey, I saw her post. So she does a lot of educational stuff. I can have a conversation with her. So a lot of us are not telling the world what we like, what we're passionate about. We're watching others do that. And it's going to be hard to then show up last minute when you want a tender, all of a sudden, to go on social media and act like you were there when you were never there. So you must start now in terms of building your brand. YouTube, Google has so much information. Guys, you could literally get a PhD online these days. Go in, learn as much as you can. Because if you don't, there will come a time where someone looks at you and says, I like your business, but do you have a business partner I can talk to? Because you're not showing up in a way that represents the CEO that you are and the brand that you're running. Before people buy into whatever you're selling, they buy into the person who's literally in front of them. So my question to you today is, do you know yourself? What have you put in place to start? What are your unique qualities and skills? Have you written those down? And when we think about positioning, always remember, you are also a PR manager when it comes to your brand. The PR person ensures that the brand is taken care of. It is not out there. You know, you're not posting nudes and then going to apply for a job. Because then when the employer comes, they're trying to understand what exactly it is that you're selling. So when you post things on social media, you have to be very careful about the brand that you're putting out there, because trust me, they will visit your social media. So if it doesn't represent what you're trying to build, you still have time to correct that. And a lot of us have that contradiction. So I wanted to close off by handing over to someone who's going to add a bit of, spice to what I've been talking about, which is on the aspect of positioning yourself, using social media, platforms that are relevant to you. How do you do that so that your brand is visible? And how do you do that consistently so that you achieve your goals, whether it's you getting employment, you getting the contracts that you need? How do you do that on social media platforms? And today we wanted to focus on LinkedIn. I was laughing because I was thinking about how we see pictures of individuals with graduation pictures, guys, from 19 something something. You still have your graduation picture there. You graduated a long time ago, but your picture is still the same. It does not reflect the present moment in terms of where you are with your brand. So I'm going to introduce to you Ayanda Ngwenya, and I'm going to call him our LinkedIn coach because he's the guy who helps people actually get jobs using their LinkedIn. So I'm going to hand over to you, Ayanda, and we will bring it back once you're done with your presentation. Thank you so much.
So my name's Ayanda Wakangwenya. I'm all the way from Durban originally, Mlazi, but I'm currently living in Johannesburg. So looking at you right now, I am also a founder of a business and a LinkedIn, newly founded LinkedIn boutique service or agency called Job Hacker. So what I basically specialize in is I help senior business professionals or senior professionals generally who are ambitious and career driven to land their next job interviews within 60 days or less. So what I did in my former tenure is that I worked for an international LinkedIn agency whereby we managed the LinkedIn profiles of CEOs and executives around the world. So that's what I focus and specialize on. So that's me. So just to get you into it, I only have 10 minutes to speak today. So I'm just going to breeze over LinkedIn and what's important and why I think that starting from now going forward, you should consider this one of the most number one social media services that you should employ either for yourself or for your business, but mostly for yourself because we're talking about personal branding. Today, we're living in a day and age whereby your company brand is starting to not be as important as your personal brand. When you look at names such as Steve Jobs, you know you're talking about Apple. When you think of names such as Microsoft, you're thinking about Bill Gates. In fact, leave the corporate side. When you're thinking about Umandela, what do you associate it with? Doric said something that when people say your name, what comes up to mind? What makes you unique? And when you think of Umandela, you think freedom. When you think Elon Musk, his personal brand alone is worth more than the corporate brands that he has helped build. Okay, so much so that I think of recent shareholders have banded together to pay him 50 billion because he has promised to elevate the shareholding price just by using his name alone of the corporations that he's leading and running. So I'm going to see if I can't manage my screen quickly. I'll share my screen, sorry, just to run you through the raw basics. I'm not going to be too technical today. I'm going to reserve that for another opportunity in case we meet again, so I could show you. So this is my personal LinkedIn. I hope it's visible. Vimbai, can you see my screen? I'm not sure if it's visible. You're on mute.
Yes, I can see it.
Oh, perfect. Okay, great. Okay, so I'm just going to quickly breeze through this, right? So today's session, I'm just going to lightly address those who are looking for career opportunities. And then I'm just going to quickly show you another back-end LinkedIn service, which I use, called LinkedIn Sales Navigator. It's part of the LinkedIn Premium package. And that's going to be a little bit more for business owners and those looking to build relationships and build leads using LinkedIn. Okay, so starting from just the raw top, right? You'd see that my LinkedIn URL, unlike some people's LinkedIn URLs, is very summarized. It's just linkedin.com and my name and surname. That's especially for LinkedIn's SEO, which is search engine optimization. Okay. Now, you're going to see something that you're not going to see in other people's LinkedIn profiles as well, and that is my LinkedIn banner, which serves as a billboard, is in sync and in color symmetry as my LinkedIn profile picture. My LinkedIn profile picture is not a picture of my entire body. It's a profile picture, which is a representation of is basically a presentation from my chest going up. So how you take it is up to you and your style. Borrowing to what Doric mentioned is present yourself how you present yourself. But for me, I like to have a matter of fact, no fluff, straightforward person. That's how I speak, and my picture's that way. That's why I'm not smiling on this picture. Okay. So yeah, and then I'm gonna show you something that's one of the most important things on LinkedIn, and that's called a LinkedIn headline. All right. Why is this important? I'm not going to open the page right now because it may take a little bit of time to load. But when you post on your LinkedIn feed, this is what's going to show. It's going to say Ayanda Ngwenya, and then it's going to write this. What you see here is actually my value proposition or my unique selling point. Okay. Which to other people, they may have founder and they may have maybe a poet, some poetry written about them there. For me, it goes straight to the point of the value I create for my clients, which is job applications. No way. I get you noticed by recruiters on LinkedIn. Just ask me how. And then it says I'm a job hacker and emerging TV personalities. Those are my other interests. So now I'm going to just briefly breeze through some of the other important things about LinkedIn that people miss, right? And that is utilizing and optimizing the SEO hacks or features that LinkedIn now has, which is, you'll see here, it says open to work. What am I open to work as? People usually just think these things are not important, but when people start searching, AKA by people, I mean recruiters, okay, or even business owners or HR managers, they're going to look, maybe for an example here, I have a founder or lead generator, okay? And when they put that on their search, this, whether you have this or not, is the do or die of whether you're going to show up in their search engine or LinkedIn search engine. So now what I'm going to say to you is that these skills that you're going to start seeing as you go down my LinkedIn are consistently there strategically. I put them all there on purpose. And when I've done all of this, what has it done? I've literally generated over 10 to 15 job interviews without applying for a single one, just by optimizing my LinkedIn and keeping it consistent and keeping it that way. All that done within a period of 2 months. Okay. So if you scroll down my about section, I've recently changed it because now I'm a founder. I recently quit my job about 2 months ago, by the way. So my about section is now changed. Unlike other people as well, whose about sections are very formal, mine is actually more personal. Because when you read it, it's not just about sounding so professional, strict, and straight. It's actually to build that connection. That's, oh, okay, I understand the story. Okay, I'm not going to read it. I'm just going to cruise over that. And then what you're going to see here is my top skills, which is also SEO optimized with other keywords that when people search for these skills, who's going to pop up? It's Ayanda. Okay, but all this doesn't pop up if my content is also not flowing, which I don't have any content at the moment. I didn't need that to job optimize. The content is another reason for when I start building my clientele, which I'm going to venture in the next few months. Okay. So when you start putting out content, LinkedIn points at you saying, hey, look at this person. This person is active on LinkedIn. When I show you the back end, there's an option to search, look for people who are only active. Why is that important? That's important because when you want to send a message to someone, you want to send a message to people who are active. Because what's the point, right? People have LinkedIn profiles, but they haven't used them in 3 months or maybe a year. So you sending them a message is pointless if they haven't been active. So you have to also stay active. Okay, this is a featured section, which is used to highlight maybe your key services, your most recent posts, your brochures, your posters. For some of you who have, what do they call it? Portfolios, you can put them and highlight them here, or recommendations or referrals that you've gotten from your previous clients. Okay. Running down, you have your skill section. My skill sections, if you see, unlike a lot of people, is not just literary, meaning just words on paper or on the screen, but it's visual. The visual part is not so important, but it's good on the human eye because people are actually always judging you. Okay. So even if you didn't look at everything on top, the fact that when you come here, you see some color, the human eye enjoys that because we're human beings and we judge, whether we say we don't or we do. Okay. And going down to that is my education, my skill section. Not going to touch in too much on that for the sake of time. But then there's another thing here, and that is your recommendation. Your recommendations are basically what you'd see on normal paper-based CVs, which would have your referrals, right? So those are people you call when you need a word. When your new or potentially new employer will call to say, hey, is this person a good candidate? So what would I do? I'd have them here. So I ask people to write me referrals or recommendations after I work with them immediately. And guess what? I write them once too. You scratch my back, I scratch yours. So that way, when you read this, you know what I'm about. You could see, okay, this is a good guy. This is the guy I should be in touch with and hear it from other people, not from me. Okay. So that's LinkedIn front end. I'm not sure how much time I have. So I'm not sure if I should stop that breeze through there. Okay. So you'll let me know, Vimbai. I'm not sure. I'm not looking at my time.
Pardon me, so I should say, Ayanda, please carry on. This is good. Can you give us a little bit, 5 more minutes, 5 more minutes, please?
Okay. Okay, just 5 more minutes. So now I'm walking you through LinkedIn Sales Navigator. LinkedIn Sales Navigator is one of the what can I call it? It's basically LinkedIn's back end. It's the parts that you pay for. LinkedIn has other offers, some from 400 all the way up to 2,000. This one that I'm using is 1,200 per month. LinkedIn is one of the few social media websites or social media platforms that asks you to pay money to use it. Okay. Unlike the others like Instagram and Facebook, they literally make money off of your attention. LinkedIn says, okay, we'll do that. There's a free site and there's a site that you have to pay for. Why should you pay for? I'm making an example or a business case out of Asaja, right? It's consulting. Here, I checked out, I opened out Asaja Consulting. Who is this important to? Business owners, right? Let's say, for an example, I'm looking to target Asaja, right? I'm looking for the owners and I want to send them a message directly. By the way, which is very important, LinkedIn is not a sales platform. It's a platform to connect and build networks. You will sell after you've had a network. A lot of people love sending messages on LinkedIn, selling. Hey, buy this, buy that. Okay. Which you'll see in our chats is that you never open with trying to sell. It's always, hey, like, I have something to give you. You have something to give me. Let's have a coffee. I find this interesting. But there's always hyper-personalized messaging to follow networking. I know that's very loaded in keywords and heavy keywords, so I'm not going to speak about that right now. But I want to make an example. I could even see everyone working for Asaja. Okay, and I can pick who I want to message and target. And I've opened Masejo's profile right here. I could either open this and I could write her a message myself. And all this is managed in another message inbox on my side. When I send her a message, it's going to appear on her front LinkedIn. But on my side, it's separated. All right. So what is this all about? It's all about hyper-personalization and building networks with a strategic focus of what I want to achieve in the next 3 to 6 months. So what I would personally vouch for and I'll do is I'll give myself 3 to 6 months to use this platform, build relationships, and then start having virtual coffee meetings, or best, I consider a success having a face-to-face meeting. Because once people have seen and associated what I've said, now they've met me in person, guess what they will likely to be next? Paying customers. Touching. It's done. So that's me, and that's Ayanda, and that's all where I'm gonna leave it for now. So yeah, thank you so much.